So a big part of our economic woes, of course, lie in central banking. And central banking, this idea that that we have a monopoly on the money supply and monetary policy, is wrong-headed. Now, there are some people that say what we ought to do is socialize the Bank of Canada, and the Bank of Canada ought to lend money to government at 0%. But of course, that is also wrong-headed. That won't help us. What we really need, the ultimate solution, is to put money in the hands of the people. Decentralized currency, allow people to use whatever currency they want, to trade with whatever currency they want, to use sound money. To use a gold standard would be a far better improvement to what we have now. I mean, I would certainly favor getting money locked onto a fixed commodity like gold, so that it can't be inflated out of control like it is now. I mean, that would be a huge improvement. I also am a big fan of things like cryptocurrencies, things that money can, people can send, overseas immediately, that again has all the things that make gold useful as money. The idea that there's a limited quantity of it, that it can't be overinflated because of that. The idea that it's divisible, that it's easy to put into a form that you can transfer from one person to another, and that it has utility that way. So the ability to have a medium of exchange is great, and cryptocurrencies offer all that, and the added utility of being able to send it immediately across the world. So I think that's good. Yeah, sound money, a tangible asset like gold. I understand. I mean, the thing that makes gold valuable is its utility as money, right? The fact that it can be divisible. There's really no tangible value to gold other than that. Like gold in and of itself. I mean, it's pretty. You can wear it. I guess that's tangible or whatever. But it's subjective. All value is subjective. And so some people value cryptocurrency more than gold. I certainly like gold. I collect some precious metals myself because I want to insure against the bad money floating around this economy, this counterfeit currency we call fiat fractional reserve notes. But I also have a little bit of cryptocurrency too, because I think has a bit more utility in terms of a medium of exchange than gold does. But they're both sound, I think. All right, we have closing comments from these guys. Oh, they're getting surprise questions now. Why should the electorate hand the national economy to Tommy Mulcair? That's a good question. Well, because I figured out how to stimulate my household economy. I just remortgaged it 10 times, and we can do that with Canadian lives. We just remortgage them, create giant Ponzi schemes, pay off the debts we have now with the future generation. We'll just keep it going. We'll just keep pushing that debt further and further down the line. That'll take care of it. Just like doing a hit of heroin one after another will take away all the pain that created that addiction to begin with, right? Tom's talking about how he's a hard worker and a family man, and that makes him eligible to run the economy. You see, I'm the only leader that says I'm completely incompetent in terms of managing the Canadian economy. I would prefer to leave that up to Canadians to do, because I don't know what's best for your life, your household, your finances. I know I don't know how to govern your life. It seems like I'm the only person that knows that. But Tommy's a good granddad and a good dad, so I guess he's qualified to govern you. Yeah, he brought up Tommy Douglas there, you know, the noted eugenicist slash social medicine pioneer. Oh, he's going to make university affordable too. That's great. I wonder how he's going to do that. Tom Mulcair is going to balance the budget, he says. Everyone agreed we had to spend back in 2008 to get us out of the crisis. That's great. You just pushed it down the road a little bit. How do Libertarian make university affordable? Well, it's a good question. I mean, open it up to the free market. Get rid of these government-sponsored get government sponsorships of universities and low interest student loans and different things like that, where, you know, students are encouraged, in fact, not to pay them back because you know, there's no incentive to. And so, of course, when you get cheap credit, university, that's a gold mine. University, cheap credit is a gold mine. The money that the universities get from all these student loans drives up tuition, that sort of thing. And, you know, in fact, I have long talks with my kids who are now of that age. I have one daughter who's going to college, another one who's choosing to wait, and my son is working. And I think those are all fine choices. You know, I don't think that university is what it was. I don't think college doesn't guarantee you a job. The stuff they teach in college nowadays doesn't make you a useful human being. It's in fact, you can make an argument that a lot of it makes you a less useful human being. It's a huge, you know, it's not just the cost of going to university that you have to calculate into it, just the tuition. You also have to factor into the cost of what you could be earning during those 4 years of university. You know, if you could be earning, say, up in Fort McMurray, working out in the oil sands, learning how to mine and operate heavy equipment, you could be easily earning $60,000 to $70,000 a year. Well, that makes university pretty expensive, because now you're giving up $60,000, $70,000 a year plus paying university fees. I mean, a university education could cost a kid like that $500,000 in economic loss, because it's not just the seen, it's also the unseen in economics. So, you know, I talk a lot with my kids about university, and you know, I'm happy with the decisions that they made. They're thinking about, they're weighing everything into account. But I think too many kids and families just say automatically you go to university, there's a career path, you get a degree, then you get a job. Well, there's a lot of PhDs working, you know, janitorial jobs. So what does that tell you about the utility of that degree? It's fun. I mean, listen, I took a grad degree and I loved it. It was fabulous, and I think I've leveraged it into something useful. And I would love to go take a PhD program. I would love to go to school forever. So I can see the appeal to that. Yeah, everything that government gets involved in becomes too expensive. You're absolutely right. As soon as the government gets involved, I mean, this is why healthcare is so expensive. You know, in Fort McMurray, we figured out that a typical household pays about $35,000 a year into the healthcare system. That's the portion of their income tax that goes to pay for healthcare. What do they get in return for that? They get 6-month waits to get an MRI, 3-month waits to see a family doctor, 6-hour waits in a merge. You know, they don't get healthcare. they don't get $35,000 worth of healthcare. That's for sure. And we only expect that to continue to climb. I mean, healthcare costs in the public sector go up and care gets worse. The breadlines get longer. You know, it's only the private sector where we see, you know, far less regulation, where costs and accessibility goes down. Laser eye surgery a decade ago was something like $6,000. You know, now it's down to $600. So even you know, people of moderate means can now afford it. It used to be kind of a luxury thing. But this is true of everything in medicine. So I have to believe that if it was just opened up to the free market, if I could just buy my kids the health care I can buy my pets, our family would be better off. Will you start on October 20th on your team for the next election, man? Yes, we will, but it's I don't even want to think about that. This has been such a slog. I mean, every minute of my day is spoken for and then some. And there are not enough minutes in the day to do everything that I need to do and want to do. And it's a big commitment, and it's a big, I quit my job to do this, and so October 20th I have to start looking for work because my retirement funds are almost used up. So I have no idea what I'm going to do after October 19th, but I'll keep leading the party as long as members want me to keep leading the party, and I will possibly drop into by-election races. Elizabeth May, we can learn something from that. Just keep dropping into by-election races, become a public face, and eventually you'll win a seat. But yeah, I mean, unless I win. I mean, I don't think, I'm skeptical I have a very good chance at winning a seat. It's tough. I mean, because the only people that will vote for me in my riding are going to be disenfranchised conservatives, right? The left isn't going to vote for me. What's in it for them? They have the NDP, the Liberals, or the Greens to choose from. How would I possibly help a leftist out, right? They want more government all around. I offer nothing for them. But on the right, I offer smaller government. So if I can convince enough people on the right to vote for me, then we got something. And I've got a number of social conservatives in my camp. It's a very socially conservative riding, and I mean, they step in kind of timidly to support me because they've seen the gays, marijuana, and guns meme, right? They're cool with the guns, but the gays and the ganja, I'm not so sure about, Tim. Are you pushing a gay agenda? Are you on everyone smoking dope? So it's really hard to get the kind of support that a guy wants, right? I mean, the ones that I talk to, I win them over. It's a hearts and minds, grassroots, one at a time slog, and one by one they're coming over. I talked to a great guy who, very anti-gay marriage, very anti-drug, but I said, look, I went to Vancouver and I met with a cannabis farmer. And he was a salt of the earth guy. He was a church-going, God-fearing farmer, the same type of guy I grew up with. And I told that to this guy, and I said, look, I'm not going to go out and smoke dope. I don't want to, it's not like I want society smoking dope. But I don't want jackboots kicking in this God-fearing farmer's door and, ruining his life for what he chooses to grow. I don't, and he agreed with me. So, there's a way to win these people over, and the gay agenda thing. Well, listen, you don't want government getting involved in marriage, because as soon as government gets involved in marriage, then it tells your church who it can and can't marry, right? And that isn't right either. So, the way I approach the social conservative thing is, look, we know that government makes makes vice worse, right? The more government we have, the more vice we have. The more things it makes illegal, the more problems we have. So if we want to see the type of moral society that these guys want to see, that's organized around the individual and what Edmund Burke would call the little platoons: church, small business, family, individual. If we want society organized around that, well, you're going to see far less drug addiction. You're going to see far less, promiscuity out in the streets and all these things that they abhor, because the social order just won't encourage those types of things as much. They won't be feeding into them, and so I think most of these social conservatives understand that, and you just can't be over the top with you got to focus on fiscal conservatism and just say, look, smaller government, and reassure them that you're not there to make Canada into a pot smoking Sodom and Gomorrah of that sort of thing. I have a better chance at my seat than Mr. Well, I mean, look, it's just a matter of logistics. If I can knock on every single door if I can touch